Hi, welcome to the Portal Pro software program. In this video I want to cover some of the highlights of the program and how it actually works and what it can do for you. Portal Pro can take care of all your door and hardware needs, everything from estimating to sales orders, purchase orders, including door and hardware schedules, creating custom sidelight frame drawings, and even accounting. It can integrate with QuickBooks, or it comes with a simple accounting program built into it. It's not a full-fledged program like QuickBooks, but it can take care of your accounting needs. And just a quick history on Portal Pro and how it came about. I sold doors and hardware for about 15 years, and around 1995 I made a major career change and moved into the IT world. And around 2000 I started writing software, and not long after that I thought I'm going to write a program for the door industry, because I remember when I was in it, everything we did by hand wrote sales orders, purchase orders, door and hardware schedules. So over a period of time it finally developed to where it is today, and of course since then there have been other companies that have come out with other programs. The one advantage to Portal Pro, I would say, would be the fact that you can get the program installed on a monthly subscription only. You don't have to come up with $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 just to get the program installed to where you can start using it. So this program was actually written on a lot of my personal experiences. So to get into the program, the first thing we want to do is we'll start the program up. And Portal Pro will integrate with a program called Toad. Toad is a program that will, they maintain a lot of manufacturers' price books. I believe somewhere between 100 and 150 different manufacturers. So they maintain all the manufacturers' list price books, and by integrating with Portal Pro, you are guaranteed you're going to have the most recent updated list price for those products. Now when Portal Pro first starts up, if you have the Toad program installed, it will launch the Toad front end called CRT. And you simply say yes, and you'll see this is the Toad program here. And when it starts up, what it does is it will connect to Toad servers and look for any updates to price books. And if there are any, you'll see that right here under this download status. You'll see a load of price books that may need to be updated. And that way, again, you'll guarantee that you have all the recent list price books for those manufacturers. Now that is a separate subscription that you would get directly through Toad. So we'll go ahead and you can minimize that and just let it run in the background, make sure it downloads all the price books. So when you come into Portal Pro, this is the opening screen. Everyone has to log in. That way it can keep track of what everyone's doing and who does what. And so we'll go ahead and put in a password. Now you can install Portal Pro on one PC but have an unlimited number of users using it, but of course they can only use it one at a time. So it is recommended to install it on everyone's own personal PC so everybody has a copy and they can run it anytime they want. So here's the opening screen for Portal Pro to get to anything in the program. It's not real complicated, it's really pretty simple to use. I would venture to say it's one of the easiest programs out there. And to help you out, if you come up here to this help menu, there's a thing under here called tutorials. So if you open that, you'll see there's a blue launch button that will launch, like right here, entering doors and frames. So there's a tutorial, a video tutorial on almost all aspects of this program. So anything that you're not sure of, you can simply watch a tutorial and it'll more than likely explain it. Or you can contact us here at the office at any time. We'll be more than happy to help you out. So here we have the different parts of the program. This is where you would enter any customers that you deal with, their name, address, phone number, things like that. Their terms of account or terms of service. And then here would be vendors and manufacturers. A vendor is a company you buy your products from. A manufacturer is a company who actually makes the products. So if you buy direct from a manufacturer, they will also be a vendor. But there are vendors out there you buy from that handle many manufacturers' products. Okay, and then here's a part where you get into different reports so that you can get into, like total sales orders written, all kinds of things like that. Change orders that you can create. And this is a button to search for change orders. Door schedule, door and hardware takeoff. This is a start and stop update Toad products. When Portal Pro starts, it will automatically in the background, it's not a window you'll see, it just runs in the background, but it goes in and all those price books that were just recently, if there were any that were downloaded, this program will go in and update all the list prices in your database for any Toad products. It won't take care of anything that's not in Toad, but it will take care of anything that is in Toad. Okay, and over here you have where you create estimates, and you can also search on estimates. And when you create an estimate, they will look something like this here. We'll pull one up real quick. So an estimate, when you generate it, it's broken down into, of course, this would be your company logo up here. This is who the intention is that you would send it to, the company. So when you create an estimate, if you have 10 contractors who are bidding this project, you'll get an estimate addressed to all 10 of those contractors. And then once his estimates are generated, you simply, however you normally do it, you can fax them out, email them, or however you normally send out your estimates or your quotes. And of course, this is the estimate number here, the date, just things like that. And it's broken down into categories like hollow metal, wood doors, and hardware. And each one has its own, is broken down into price. Now you can generate this estimate with totals only. So you would still see this data here, but there will not be any prices shown for each category. It will only have a total at the very bottom, like right here. And and it also shows any terms that you want to have, like here, all warranties are per manufacturer's terms and conditions. You can change that or eliminate it, whatever you want to do. It's all customizable. And of course, in each category, you can also enter notes, like on the hollow metal, all doors and frames by Curry's, masonry frames to be welded, or anything you want to type in here. So it's, and you can also create revisions of estimates. That's so that, let's say you send an estimate out, and then the contractor calls back and says, hey, can you take 5 of those doors out? So you can create a revised copy of this estimate, and it'll make an exact copy. You go in, and the copy, or actually in this case, let's say revision number 1, and you make your changes, and you can have as many revisions as you want. So that way you keep a running history of all the changes that were made, and you can always go back in time to whatever one they actually end up going with. So those would be the estimates. And then here we have sales orders. You can start a new order or search for existing orders. And the sales order would look something like this. This would be a customer copy. Again, your logo at the top, the sold to and shipped to address, and then all the items. You can also include tag numbers and the things like that. And this would be all the different items that are on the sales order. And come down here till you have a final total at the bottom. And then you can also create an office copy, a shipping copy, a shop copy, and a salesman's copy. And the shipping copy would be the exact same thing, only without any pricing. So you come down at the bottom, there's no total or anything, but there's a place where they can sign upon receiving the material. It gives you the quantity that are being shipped. And then we come over to POs. You can do create POs, and a PO would look something like this. Who the PO is to, where it's being shipped to, whether it's coming to your place of business or going to direct to a job site. And of course, all the products that are on the PO, and then the total, and any special instructions that you want to add, things like that. So those would be the POs. Now, door and hardware schedule, you will get to under here, and when you create your schedules, it'll look something like, pull up a door schedule, and this is what your door schedule would look like. Gives the project name, the contractor, the architect. These are the different revisions, architectural revisions they made to their drawings, so that you can keep a running record here, and the architect will know what copy of his drawings you created these schedules from. And of course, now as he brings up the legend, all the abbreviations that are used in the door schedule, and some generic drawings like a flush door, a vision door, and you can show 12 by 12 or 10 by 10. You can show the glass thickness, and it's by the elevation letter here or number. Just a basic three-sided frame, basic sidelight frame, and then this would be the schedule. So you can see you have all the room-to-room information, all the necessary information on the schedule, the door and the frame, details on each, and any remarks for that particular opening, and then the hardware set for each opening. So that would be your door and hardware schedule. And then the door schedule, your hardware schedule will look like this item here. And of course, these can be printed or saved to your hard drive as a PDF file. You can then email them out or however you want to send them. So this would be a hardware schedule here. Basically the same information: contractor, architect, job name, and the architect's revision numbers. This is just a breakdown of the different manufacturers used in this schedule. And then we come into the actual hardware sets, like set 1. And it'll show you what tag numbers are using set 1, and give you a breakdown of the different hardware items in that set. So they have set, here we go, you can see like set 3 has 3 doors using set 3. And that's pretty much your door schedule, or hardware schedule rather. Now the door and hardware schedule, it does, when you're creating that, you do have the ability to use a third-party program, like a program called ABBY, A-B-B-Y. And what ABBY has the ability to do is it will read like an architect's PDF file of a door schedule and a hardware schedule. And you can use ABBY to read that schedule, and it'll take the actual door schedule and then blow it into an Excel spreadsheet. And this really comes in handy if you're doing a large project, maybe 500,000 openings. And it blows all those into an Excel spreadsheet. And then with basically a click of a button and matching up some columns, you can put that entire Excel spreadsheet into Portal Pro door schedule. And you can do the same thing with the hardware schedule too. So that can save you a great deal of time of creating your door and hardware schedules. And there's other ways, things you can do too, like some different ways you can enter door and hardware schedule. That's really a really big time saver. Okay, then other than that, we come over here. There is a place for shipping and receiving. That your shipping and receiving department can come into this and pull up orders and mark what sales orders have been shipped out and how many of each item on that particular sales order. Of or on receiving. If they're receiving any items in on a PO. So that's where they would get to. Here you have a button for if you have a shop, they can go in here and actually enter their time they spend on a sales order. And again, this is the accounts receivable, and here's the account payable. As mentioned earlier, that does come with a simple accounting program. You can track your payments from your customers on their sales orders, or invoices rather, and you can track your payments out to your vendors that you make on your purchase orders. And you can also write checks. You can also enter like utilities, any other item that's not part of the door, just part of your daily business, like gas and electric, phone bills, or anything like that, truck expenses, whatever. And you, instead of using a simple program built into Portal Pro, it can also integrate with QuickBooks. So what Portal Pro will do is Portal Pro will create the actual invoice or purchase order, and basically with a click of a button, you can send those directly into QuickBooks. And then you would use QuickBooks for your accounting end, tracking your payments and out to vendors and payments from customers. Okay, and then other than that, you have add edit products. That's where you'll go in and add products. When you get Portal Pro, you'll get approximately, it's about 390,000 products already built into the database. Of course, that's not everything available to the door and hardware industry, but it's quite a few. So you can go in here, any products that are not included or anything that's not part of Toad, you can enter through that form. Now over here is the printer settings. If you don't do anything in this, it'll just print to your default printer. Or you can go in, if you have a printer in your shop and a printer in your shipping department, you would point out what printer that is according to whatever you're connected to on your PC. And that way when you click like print out a sales order, it will print out the customer copy to one printer, it'll print out your shipping copy to the shipping department, and print out your shop copy to your shop. So that comes in pretty handy. And of course, administration is when you can go in for the administrator of Portal Pro to manage users and just a lot of different aspects of the program. This middle section here is called notifications. It's kind of like an internal messaging program. It's used where you can send messages to and from other people in your organization who also have Portal Pro installed. It can't be used for anything outside of that. But you can enter projects that are bidding, and then that would show up, like right here it says jobs bidding. Then the salesperson could double click on this, they could assign that job to themselves, or you can actually assign jobs to a salesperson under that button. Or you can send messages to somebody else, like this one here, it says order number 8952, that's the customer and the job name. And it says, Greg, take a look at this order. So I could double click it here, it'll open up that sales order. I could do whatever's asked of me here, and then send a message back to the person who sent it to me. And again, that's just for internal messaging only. This area down here is for sales orders that are currently still open by the person who logged in. These are orders that have not shipped or have not been invoiced yet. So this comes in real handy. Basically, like back in the 80s and 90s, from personal experience, there are times when a sales order could get lost in the system, and for whatever reason, it does not get invoiced. And then 6 months later down the road, you say, "Oh man, I didn't invoice that sales order." Well, by then the contractor's already closed out the project, and you could be lucky to collect any money at that point. So that helps prevent things like that. And it also, up here, when you enter job info, you can enter You don't have to do this for every job you have, but just contract jobs where you have a contract and you have a certain amount that you're doing this contract for. And what Portal Pro will do is every time you write a sales order against that project or that job, it will let you know how much is left to invoice. And that way you don't forget to send out an invoice for any products or merchandise. So it's a good way to keep from losing money on a project by forgetting to invoice it. And of course, it helps prevent you from going over, because you'll always see how much is left to invoice. So when you write up your last invoice, you'll know you can't go over a certain amount. So that way you're avoiding phone calls from the contractor. Oh, you overcharged us on this project. So then you have to go in and do change orders and things like that. So that's pretty much it. That's your quick overview of Portal Pro. Again, we're positive that it will take care of all your door and hardware needs. If you have any questions or any more information on this, please feel free to call our office at any time. Thank you.